God eftermiddag alle sammen. Her er et par fuldstændig unødvendige meddelelser. Den ene er, at det er den første gang siden 1975, at jeg er på Roskilde Festival. Så kom jeg rejsende til fra Bornholm med en sovepose, 3 gram hash og 100 kroner og klarede det hele vejen. Måske er det derfor, jeg også har klaret mig som journalist i Rusland, for det har fandeme ikke været nemt altid. Det er så ved du nogen, dengang jeg begyndte at rejse derovre, og så vil nogen komme til at tale en lille smule om, også på det tidspunkt, så er der noget i Rusland, der tyder på, at tid er ved at blive skudt tilbage. Men allerførst, damer og herrer, jeg vil lige til at præsentere de 2 damer, som kommer nu. Fordi det er ikke free riot. Undskyld, det er man kun, når man har en hue ned over hovedet med 2 huller til øjnene og en bund til munden. Men nu er det Nadja og Marsha. Hvem kan se på de 2 unge kvinder, at for et halvt år siden sad de i fængsel i et sted, der hedder Mordovia. De har siddet i fængsel i 15 måneder, og jeg skulle lige så sige, at det er ikke fængselsforhold, som vi kender dem i Danmark. Jeg ved, de sikkert selv fortælle lidt om det, men en af de ting, jeg har læst om det, og som jeg sidder og talt med dem om, før vi mødes her, det er, at en arbejdsdag i sådan en arbejdslejr i Mordovien består i 17 timer ved symaskinen i den store fabrik, hvor man syr tøj gratis, og så 7 timers hvile bagefter. Her er de i live, heldigvis, og parat til at svare på spørgsmål fra jer. Og for nu, at, som de rigtige hedder, Maria Alёhina og Nadежда Толоконникова kan forstå, hvad der foregår, så sker det fra nu af på engelsk, og derfor står jeg over i engelsk nu. And my first question to all of you is, who was born before 1989? Raise your hands. Whoa, who was born after 1989? Okay, so you didn't know what the Soviet Union was. Okay, I'm going to explain a little bit about that. When I was 17 years old, the same year I went to Roskilde, I also went to Russia, or the Soviet Union as it was called. And I did my first really bad criminal deed. What did I do? Did I hit an old woman? Did I rob a bank? No. I sold my jeans. Because in those days it was impossible in the Soviet Union to obtain anything from the West. So you had to buy it from tourists. And I met a guy named Igor. We had a few vodkas, and he looked at me and he said, you know what? I'm in love with a girl. She will only have me if I had Levi's jeans. So he told me he would pay me 100 rubles for my jeans. 100 rubles in those days were not just pennies. 100 rubles was more than half of what a doctor was making a month. So I sold my jeans to Igor. We did a change. It was very secret. It was very dark. I was very afraid. He was less afraid, except, you know, the worst thing that could have happened to me was I was thrown out of the Soviet Union. Igor could go to a camp. Not a very nice camp. He sold me his jeans, he got his girlfriend, and I got like 15 bottles of vodka to have fun with. The second time I encountered the Soviet Union this way was in 1980 when there were Olympic Games in Russia or in the Soviet Union. And like the last Winter Olympics, the Soviet Union wanted to make this a political event. So they chased away all the prostitutes from Moscow, all the people that were drinking. It was a lot. So everybody who came there would say, oh, what a nice city this is. One of my friends, Andrei, was a very nice young man studying at the university, and he was a helpful guy. So when he met some athletes from America, he said, oh, can I show you the city? He showed them Moscow, and he got money for them. When he had spent a whole day with them, they gave him $10 each. Andrei was apprehended by the KGB when he was delivering the athletes at their hotel. Andrei disappeared. Andrei disappeared for 5 years in a camp in Siberia for having $100 in his pocket. That was the Soviet Union. Well, Russia has changed. Russia has been through a big change after the Berlin Wall fell. When the Berlin Wall fell, these two young women were born. That same year. So their parents probably thought they would grow up in a wonderful country where things change, democracy would slowly come, and everything would be good. It didn't happen quite that way. Putin, who constantly, the president of Russia, constantly says everything has to be after the law. It has to be the law. Well, the thing is, he is the guy who makes the laws. So there you have it. There are some new laws coming, and I will let Masha and Nadia explain what these laws mean for normal citizens in Russia. Ladies and gentlemen, Nadezhda and Maria, Nadia and Masha, Pussy Riot, with their incredible courage, are now traveling around the world to talk to you people and ask you to see their problems in Russia and ask you to help them in changing that. Change is what makes Roskilde Festival a fantastic event. Change is the name of the game this year in Roskilde. So please give them a big hand and help them change.
Hello! Hi guys. Thank you. Thank you for coming and for standing here in this hot place. You're heroes. Yes. We're sorry, but we want to talk on Russian, but we have this man and he will translate our words. Peter.
Yes, I will translate. It's Russian, but if someone knows Russian, you can enjoy double.
Yes, we can speak English, but there are so many people and we are so shy, we can't. Thank you. У меня есть одна маленькая ремарка относительно того, что мы сейчас ездим, путешествуем по всему миру, не совсем так. Последние месяца-полтора мы не уезжали из Москвы, занимались проблемами заключенных в России. Собственно, долгой, нудной, но очень нужной сейчас работой. Это первый раз мы выбрались за последнее время.
Well, first of all, I have a small remark. Things have been said that we travel a lot. Well, in fact, for the last month and a half, we have been based in Russia, doing various activist work related to prisoners' rights, visiting prison camps, doing other types of support things, and just basically getting down to all that routine. And this visit to Roskilde is basically our first travel in almost 1.5 months.
Мы хотели бы, чтобы вы знали и помнили о том, что наша страна, Россия, это не только Путин.
Want every one of you to understand and know and realize that our big country Russia is not just Putin.
Сейчас, во время
событий, которые происходят на Украине, может показаться, что Россия хочет стать второй империей. Но мы и очень многие люди в России, которые с этим не согласны, пытаются кричать об этом очень громко.
Right now, especially during the events that are taking part in Ukraine now, it might seem from abroad that Russia once again wants to become an empire. But us and a lot of other dedicated people inside Russia, we try to do everything we can to not allow that to happen.
Мы не хотели бы, чтобы было возможно то, чего хочет сейчас наш президент Путин, а именно изоляция России.
We wouldn't want to help Putin get what he wants right now, and that is isolation of Russia.
Собственно, поэтому мы здесь. Мы хотим сказать о том, что опыт России может быть полезен вам в построении, еще лучшем построении вашего гражданского общества, вашего активизма, музыки, культуры.
And this is why we're here, because we have this slight suggestion that our experience back in Russia might be, to some extent, useful even for you to make your civil society even better, to build your own music, culture, activism, anything you want, make it better, and just, well, work with things back home.
Да, мы надеемся, что вам пришелся по вкусу наш способ выступлений, акционизм, и мы, естественно, хотели бы видеть развитие этого жанра не только в России, но и в других странах.
We hope that some of you like the chosen genre for our performances, actionism. So we would definitely like a development of the genre, not on this style, not only in Russia, but also in other countries. Denmark, for example.
С другой стороны, как Россия и русские могут быть полезны вам, так и вы, естественно, может быть очень полезны нам. Во-первых, мы говорим из нашего собственного опыта. Вы и все эти люди, которые по какому-то чуду нас поддерживали, действительно помогли нам не умереть в колонии.
Well, and just as the way as Russians in Russia can be useful for you, you definitely have to realize that you are extremely helpful to what is going on and happening with people and activists in Russia. For example, all your support actions and your attention realistically allowed us to survive and not die in our prison camps.
У нас есть замечательные люди, смелые, отважные люди, которые сейчас сидят в тюрьме за свои убеждения. Есть и люди, которые могут сесть в тюрьму за искусство, и мы хотели бы сегодня тоже вкратце немного о них напомнить, чтобы вы поддерживали их, потому что им действительно нужна ваша поддержка. Если вам кажется, что Россия это очень далеко, но совсем не так.
And today, there are also very brave people that are in prison in Russia, and they need all of your support and your attention. So today we'll talk about them a little bit, because they definitely want to hear that Russia is not that far, that Russia is closer than people think and that you might think. So we'll definitely mention that and hope that you listen and understand and show your support to them as well.
Да, вы же можете приехать к нам в Россию. Мы здесь провели всего день в этой стране, но уже придумали замечательную штуку. Мы хотим привозить датских адвокатов, чтобы они помогали и в наших юридических делах, в нашей правозащитной деятельности, которой мы занимаемся, и в международном освещении тех проблем, которые у нас сейчас есть. Но каждый из вас, с той профессией, которая есть у вас, может привнести что-то полезное не только России, но и другим странам. Естественно, мы говорим про Россию, потому что мы, черт возьми, оттуда.
Well, and we're just a day in Denmark, and we're already coming up with concepts on how to get Danes to come to Russia and start doing things there. For example, we already thought of and sort of started developing a concept for Danish lawyers to come to Russia and help with the political trials that are going on down there. But any person from Denmark with any profession can try to come to Russia and find himself there and basically join Russian society somehow and make it better.
Если вы приезжаете в Россию, вы художник или вы артист, вы выступаете где-то, не делайте этого просто так. Заявите стейтмент, поддержите тех людей, которые сидят в тюрьме сейчас за свои убеждения, за то, что они вышли на площадь 2 года назад.
Well, when you come down to Russia, if you're an artist, for example, a musician, you perform, you shouldn't just perform. You should try to figure out the situation and say a few words in support of the people who are in prison that need your attention and that got to prison for basically going out to protest 2 years ago.
Эти люди вышли на Болотную площадь, поэтому их дело называется болотным делом.
These people went out to a square in Moscow called the Bolotnaya Square. It's a hard name to pronounce. It's like the square of the swamp. And that's why their case is called the Bolotnaya Square.
Swamp case. It's called swamp case because it's... Потому что это утопает во всем том, что сейчас говорит против этого дела и против этих людей пропаганда.
Well, the swamp case is a good name for it because all the bad things that are said against these guys are, well, we hope that they will drown into the swamp that is developed by Russian propaganda that tries to either not mention these guys or rather say bad things about them.
Да, кстати, мне тут пришло в голову, что, может быть, не для всех здесь очевиден этот вопрос, вообще, какого черта мы сидим тут на диванах и не поем.
Well, you know, I just suddenly got the idea that probably it could be that not all of you would evidently have the answer to the question, why the heck are we sitting here on couches and not singing?
Ну так вот, это жанр. Я, конечно, нижайше прошу прощения за то, что мы вас здесь собрали и не поем, но таков жанр, мы его таким сделали, и то, чем мы занимаемся, то, чем занимается Pussy Riot, это в первую очередь акционизм, и в первую очередь, что мы запретили себе, это выступление на легальных сценах, на легальных площадках.
Well, and really, I want to give you my sincere apologies for gathering all of you here and actually not singing. But this is the genre, the way we created it, the style, actionism, and basically once we developed our whole artistic ideas, we gave ourselves the promise not to perform in sanctioned and legal and pre-arranged spaces. So basically, this is the promise we gave and we can't betray it.
Да, мы всегда не ищем легких путей, мы всегда ищем самые неочевидные пути, сложные пути. И если вы как-то сможете помочь нам в этом, если вы хотите вступить в коллаборацию, пишите нам. Наверное, самое простое на Facebook, Pussy Riot, мы там есть. И мы не оставили арт, мы ни в коем случае, и надеюсь, мы выступать не можем, но давайте придумать, что мы можем делать вместе.
So, and it's definitely, we always love to collaborate with with new people, with sudden people that appear, that become our friends, that want to do things. So it's quite easy to get in contact with us and start thinking of crazy ways to do together, to collaborate. So for example, you can find our group on Facebook and write us and get in touch. And if you have some ideas, we'll be very happy to discuss them and maybe do something together.
Да, самый простой, конечно, способ нас найти, просто приехать в нашу страну.
The easiest way to find us is obviously just to come to Russia.
Ну да, потом обратиться в ближайшее отделение ФСБ.
And there just go to the local KGB office.
Они всегда знают, где нас найти.
You always know where to find us.
Не очень дружелюбно.
Вообще творчество, конечно, может спасать. И это одна из тех вещей, которая нас спасала в тюрьме. В российской тюрьме вообще достаточно тяжело заниматься творчеством. Там буквально у тебя выгрызают все, что ты пытаешься написать. Поэтому часто в тюрьме приходилось писать стихи на коленках, шифром, и надеяться, что их не обнаружат и не сотрут.
But you know, art can actually really heal and do a lot of benefits to all parts and sides of your body. For example, when I was in prison, and the main task there when I was writing something and doing poetry was not to have those papers taken away from me. So I was forced to write down things on my knee in a special code, and I hope that the guards during the search, they wouldn't check your knees and find that out and wouldn't erase my poetry written on my knees.
Да. Первая вещь, из-за которой я разрыдалась в тюрьме, это еще недели через две после того, как нас заключили, я пыталась вынести свои тексты, передать их моим друзьям на свободу. У меня их обнаружили, отобрали, и я испытала очень серьезную боль. Собственно, да, даже само по себе заключение не может быть настолько страшным, как невозможно творить. Поэтому сейчас то, что мы делаем в России, хотим делать в Украине, это помощь людям, которые хотят творить в тюрьме.
And well, the first thing I really cried and felt a lot of pain in prison is it happened several weeks after I was in prison. I was trying go to see my lawyer and trying to pass several papers with my written things, with my poetry, with my literature, for them to be sent on to my friends. But I was searched on the way, and these papers were removed from me, so I really did feel a lot of pain at that moment, and I cried. And right now, when we do various support things with prisons in Russia and want to start doing support things with prisons in Ukraine, because we realize how important it is to have the chance to create and to do art while you're in prison. So we try to basically make the fate of people who do art in prison a little bit easier.
Да, то есть честно.
I have a very concrete question then, because in the 60s and 70s, Amnesty International had a writing campaign where you could, as an individual, write letters to people in Russian prisons, political prisoners, and write them letters about life, about your thoughts, about your support. Is that possible today? Is it possible to direct letters from each of you with a stamp towards Russia to people in prisons?
Да, конечно, это возможно. Нам приходили целые огромные мешки таких писем, и в те редкие моменты, когда получалось их заполучить, да, это было для нас действительно важно. Это показывало, что все вы существуете, существуют те люди во всем мире, которые нас поддерживают.
Obviously that is very possible today. For example, during those rare moments when we were given our letters and packages in prison, we literally got huge sacks of letters written by people from all over the world. And basically this was the main thing to realize that all you guys exist and that there are a lot of friends and supporters from all around the world who support us. So that was a really incredible feeling. Thank you.
Как-то раз меня вызвал мой начальник колонии, с которым мы очень много ссорились, который в итоге угрожал мне убийством. Но вот и как-то раз я пошла к нему в кабинет, я не знала, какую еще гадость он для меня придумал. А оказалось, что он позвал меня для очень приятного повода. Мне на день рождения пришла вот такая открытка с текстами на самых разных языках, от китайского до итальянского, французского, английского. Он показал мне ее и сказал, что пока он повесит у себя ее в кабинете, он не может ее отдать, но когда я сложусь, я смогу ее получить.
One time I was called into the office of the warden of my prison. This man was doing a lot of very bad things to me. He threatened me with murder and was constantly planning just very evil and nasty things. But so when I was called up to his office, on the way there I was thinking, what's the next bad thing that he thought of this time? But once I got to his office, he showed me sort of a celebratory card sent by mail that was this size. And it had a huge number of various congratulation notes written in a huge number of languages. And he said that, you know, I can't, by rules and regulations, I can't give you this postcard right now, but I'm going to hang it in my office. and give it on the wall and give it back to you when you are free. That was like a wise suggestion from him.
Маленький практический совет: если вы будете писать письма российским политзаключенным, то стоит прилагать какой-нибудь перевод, хотя бы Google Translate на русский язык, потому что часто не передают именно из-за того, что нет перевода.
So small advice: if you're going to write letters to political prisoners in Russia, you should at least try to do the most simple Google Translate, because they into Russian. Just like an additional note to your original message, because often they won't give you those letters because they don't have the translation, and obviously the prison guys are completely puzzled by what is said in those letters.
Можно просто картинки, они интернациональные.
Or if you just simply send pictures, well, you know, that's international.
Как-то раз ко мне пришла замечательная картинка, и меня вызвали к моему тюремному цензору, и у меня была картинка, стикер под названием «Цензура убивает». И, как ни странно, вот эти все вещи, они очень проникают в сознание этих людей. И изначально она относилась ко мне не очень хорошо, но в тот момент, когда она вызвала меня дать мне этот стикер, она попросила у меня разрешения оставить этот стикер себе.
So there was this woman, a censor. Basically, her official duty was to censor letters and to check mail and to not allow anything bad in. So one time I was called to her office, and she showed me a package of stickers that had censorship kills written all over them. And while she was treating me, she didn't treat me too well before, but after basically I received this message, for some reason she changed her attitude, and after giving me some of those stickers, she very politely, the censor woman, she very politely asked if she could keep some of those for herself as well.
When you read the statistics, it seems like you are very lonely in Russia, because the latest poll shows that Putin has about 80-some% of popular support. How can you ever be optimistic? Why aren't you staying here in Roskilde forever?
Во-первых, мы всегда были оптимистами.
First of all, we were always optimists.
Может, поэтому с нами и произошло то, что произошло.
So this is possibly, and we were too optimistic, and this is maybe what it happened to us. What happened?
Во-вторых, та поддержка, которая сейчас есть у Путина, вот эта самая статистика, которая 85%, она не настоящая.
Well, secondly, you know, those 80-85% support polls of Putin that are shown in the media, they're actually not that real.
Потому что она получена за счет Крыма. После того, как Россия аннексировала Крым, рейтинг Путина вырос в разы.
Because it is, well, he got it because of Crimea. After Russia annexed and captured Crimea, obviously the polls, his support polls went up quite high.
Поэтому вот эта самая аннексия Крыма — это прежде всего внутриполитический жест, рассчитанный на вот эту самую дешевую легкую победу.
So first of all, the annexation of Crimea is basically this very quite cheap support action that has an internal goal of getting this easy popular support from inside Russia.
Именно бу.
Exactly, boo.
Да, но те люди, которые сейчас находятся в оппозиции к Путину, они все-таки мыслят стратегически, они понимают, что мы от этого скорее потеряли, чем выиграли. И от Крыма, и от того, что сейчас происходит на востоке Украины.
And well, those people who try to think and who want to think strategically, obviously they realize that Russia has lost much more from losing Crimea and from what is happening in eastern Ukraine right now with the ongoing war than it ever could win. So there are people who realize that this is a very, very bad thing.
Вообще люди, когда видят искренних людей перед собой, они, как правило, очень быстро меняют свое мнение. Маленький пример, опять же, из колонии, когда нас доставили, очень много говорили о том, что мы просто исчадие ада, с нами запрещали общаться под страхом наказания.
You know, for example, and often when people have sincere people talking to them, ordinary Russians. It's very easy for them to change their opinion. Just a simple example, when we were first shipped to our prison camps, everyone was told that we were, children of hell, and we talk to the devil, we're witches, so people were very afraid, ordinary prisoners were very afraid to talk and communicate with us.
Прошел месяц, и так случилось, что вот эти вот мои охранники застали нас в промзоне, в фабрике, где мы шили одежду, столы, на которых стояли швейные машинки, и мы вместе с теми людьми, которые должны были меня просто расплющить в этой колонии по приказу администрации, танцевали под хит того года Gangnam Style и планировали, как нам сшить балаклавы.
And a month after I got to my prison camps, my prison guards entered the prison factory where we were supposed to see police uniforms and other things, and they were astonished to see me and other inmates dancing on the top of the tables to the hits of that year of 2012, Gangnam Style, and planning how to make balaclavas. So the prison guards were absolutely shocked to see that.
Небольшие акции, мы врывались в соседние цеха, резко включали флешку в огромный, как это называется, вещь, которая исполняет музыку, да? В музыкальный центр, замечательно. Все-таки 2 года чуть не прошли даром. Вот, и начинали танцевать у них на столах, люди не понимали, что происходит. В общем, везде, даже в том обществе, которое является тоталитарным, таким как тюрьма, она, безусловно, не является, возможен всплеск свежей идеи, свежего искусства и чего-то радикального.
And during my time in prison, we always tried to do these little creative actions. For example, our brigade in the factory could sometimes just suddenly barge and run into the next room where people were very busy doing their duties, sewing the police uniforms, and then we would also jump on the tables, quickly insert a USB cord into a music system and turn on music and start dancing, and all the people sitting there were just shocked and didn't realize what was happening. So this is an example that in even the most totalitarian conditions, and obviously prison is an ideal example of totalitarian society, you can always think of appropriate creative actions that can very effectively liven up the atmosphere and give creative energy to people.
I mean, you are just 2 individuals, you were performing artists, you had no idea what was going to hit you when you entered the Cathedral of the Savior in Moscow. Where do you get the courage that so many people lack? I mean, you're not fighting against your teachers, you're fighting against a power that will not shy away from murder. There was the journalist Nadежда Толоконникова who was killed because of her political work, and you knew well of Anna Politkovskaya. How do you find this courage inside of you?
Вы правильно сказали про Анну Политковскую. У нас просто очень сильные ролевые модели. Русские люди, они сильны тем, что они противостоят своей тоталитарной власти до последнего. И когда у вас есть такие предшественники, вопрос не стоит.
You know, you're right to mention Anna Politkovskaya, the Russian very brave journalist who was murdered, because Russians have extremely brave and powerful role models. And when you have those role models in front of you, you don't really raise the question of whether to protest or not to protest. You just have to do it.
Я уверена, что вы на нашем месте поступили бы точно так же, не соврали бы себе, если бы вас посадили, не отреклись бы от себя и своих убеждений.
it's actually, we think that there are a substantial number of people, and a lot of you would obviously do the same, and basically, you know, it's not that difficult to, if you believe in something very strongly, it's not that difficult to stick to your beliefs and not to give them away when you're arrested and tried in court and sentenced and sent to prison. It's, if you believe in something, it's easy to stick to those beliefs.
That is easier said than done. You said Anna Politkovskaya was a role model for you. Now you are role models, I guess, for a lot of us. So what do you have So what is the most important you can learn all these people who want to learn from you? What is the most important you can teach them?
Нам еще не очень нравится позиция кого-то учить.
Well, first of all, we don't really, you know, like the position of directly teaching, of you to use the term teaching it to actually teach someone.
Да, потому что мы вообще против авторитетов.
Well, because, you know, we are not that great fans of authority of any kind.
Мы только можем сказать, как делаем мы. Мы понимаем, что у нас есть одна жизнь, ее нужно прожить достойно и, пожалуй, экспериментируя и не искать легких путей.
So, well, to talk about the way we do it, you know, well, it's very easy. Just realize that you have one life and you have to live it in a dignified way, and for us that means experimenting and not looking for easy solutions and answers, and that's it.
И не врать себе никогда.
And staying true to yourself, not lying to yourself. That never. That is very important.
Еще очень полезно может оказываться заниматься разными делами одновременно. Например, мы же никогда не были музыкантами. Просто в какой-то один день, когда Путин сказал, что он пойдет на третий срок, решили, что мы должны это сделать. Мы должны в чем-то показать, например, реальным музыкантам, которые реально умеют петь и играть. И мы, не умея делать ни того, ни другого, просто пошли и начали это делать.
And you know, well, and it's sometimes extremely useful to multitask and to do several things at the same time. For example, when Putin announced that he would become president for the third term, we were so outraged that we decided that we have to go and start singing, although we were not musicians and we never knew how to do it, so we just went out and started singing, first of all, to teach to show real musicians the example of how to express their emotions and their outrage. So this is just something that we really wanted to do, went out and started doing it.
You started by saying that it was strange that you didn't sing and you weren't going to sing. Have you given up being artists by traveling around and advocating political rights for people all over the world? Are you still going to be Pussy Riots?
Мне кажется, что в тот момент, когда человек себе говорит, что вот сейчас я остановился, закончил и состоялся, вот на этом можно сразу умереть.
Well, you know, I think the point when someone tells himself that, okay, this is the moment I stop, that's a very good moment to just lie down and die.
Because then I have a small present for you. I was walking around while I was waiting for you, and there was a guy who was sweating and he was having a hat on and he was going to throw it away. And I said, no, wait a minute, I have to talk to two women from Pussy Riot and they will probably need this in their work later on. So here's a memoir. It's a souvenir from the Roskilde Festival. You have to cut the holes in it, but I hope you'll use it.
К сожалению, она не яркая, а сейчас у нас в России вежливые люди в таких ходят, поэтому мы повременим с тем, чтобы ее одевать.
Fortunately, it's not very bright, and you know, right now people who take military actions against various areas around Russia use this color. So we're gonna wait a little bit until we can actually use this particular color. Or maybe we'll have to paint it.
Or you can throw it away and wear your colors. We don't have much more time, but I would still ask you, I know you hate speeches, you don't like authorities, but I'm sorry, there's one big authority in here right now, and that's your audience. And I know they're not going to ask you to sing and perform, you don't want to do that, but do you have a last thing to tell them before you leave and go on in the fight that you have to fight, also very alone in your country?
Почему они? Вы не одни, ребят!
Спасибо.
Thank you to the Russians in the audience.
Спасибо. И мне действительно очень сильно не хотелось бы, чтобы опустился железный занавес, наша страна оказалась в изоляции. Пожалуйста, приезжайте, говорите, делайте вместе с нами. И у нас все получится.
So, you know, I really wouldn't want the Iron Curtain to once again drop down on Russia. So please come to Russia, talk to people, create, collaborate, and do everything together. And then we can all win and achieve what we want.